Hi, my name is Elliot from Sundial Equity Administration, and today I want to go through the process of issuing option grants in two different cap table platforms, Carta versus a newer platform called Capboard. So I'll just go over to my Carta account here. There's a lot I could dive into on the account here, but mainly for the purposes of this video, just want to issue options. So we'll go over on the left-hand side here to the Securities tab, and beneath that, we'll click on the Equity Awards dropdown. On this page, we'll click the Draft Options button in the top right corner here. This page is going to show us our existing draft sets. These are essentially folders where you can work on drafting some option grants without having issued them yet. So we'll just go ahead and create a new draft set. The draft name here works great, and we're going to be issuing from our equity incentive plan from 2023. And it's wondering if we want to get board approval through Carta for these. I'm going to just say no this time. Then we can create the new draft set. All right, so this page looks an awful lot like an Excel spreadsheet. This is where we can input all the information for our option grant. As you can see, there's quite a few rows, so if you needed to fill out and issue a few option grants at the same time, that's no problem. There's also the ability to download an Excel template to fill out and then re-upload as well, if that's easier for the population of grants that you're going to be issuing. As we scroll to the right, you can see all the fields that we need to fill out for the option grant. Those with a star are required, and those that don't have a star are optional. So we can dive right in and just get started here. I'm just going to pick a stakeholder from the list here. Leave the rest of these the same. So grant reason, there are a number of different reasons you could choose from, but we'll just go with new hire for this one. We'll keep these as ISOs. For the quantity, we'll do 150. The exercise price is pulling from the current fair market value on file at the moment, so that works for this. Board approval status, we'll just indicate that this has been board approved, and the board approval date will set as yesterday, and we'll indicate that the grant date was yesterday as well. The expiration date is going to automatically pull from the plan, which has it set as 10 years in the future minus 1 day. So that's what we see here. For the vesting start date, I'm going to pick a date in the past just so that we can see some vesting action having happened here. For the schedule, there's a number of different schedules that you can pick based on any templates that you might have created or the default schedules in Carta. So we'll just go ahead with this schedule here. And similarly with the documents, there's a few different sets of documents that you could pick based on anything that you've already prearranged. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we'll just go with this set here. And let's see, most of these fields are going to be optional from this point on. So if you did want to add some customization, let's say indicating the employee ID or cost center, anything to help sorting and organizing this set of options in the future, you can absolutely add those here, but you don't need to in order to proceed. So we'll just go ahead and click on the review button now. All right, with no errors found, we can have this one last screen to review the option grant. So we'll be issuing 150 new options. Everything looks good. At this point, we can click the Collect Signatures button. This will send the option grant to the signatory within the company to review and sign. After that is done, then the grant would be released to the stakeholder to review and sign as well. All right, so there you have it. That is the basic process of issuing an option grant in Carta. At this point, we can switch over to the other cap table platform, Capboard, and we can take a look at what this process looks like here. So I'm in my Capboard account now. You can see a few different pieces of information here on the main dashboard. Again, there's quite a few things we could jump into here, but for the purpose of this video, we'll just go ahead and issue an option grant just like we did in Carta. So I'm going to go to the Equity Plans tab on the left-hand side of the screen here. And then I'll click on the grants drop down from there. At this point, you can see, similar to Carta, any grants that have already been issued. You also have the same options to download a template from Capboard to fill out in Excel that you can re-upload here to issue grants. But we're going to go ahead and just click this Create Equity Grant button in the top right corner to create just a one-off grant. So instead of the Excel table that we saw in Carta, this is what we're looking at in Capboard in terms of filling out the details for this option grant. We have these drop downs here, so if you did have a number of these to do, you could do this process individually for each grant, or you could download the Excel template to re-upload for a bulk quantity of grants. So I'm going to go through and just pick employee number 3 here. Similarly, we'll be pulling from the Equity Incentive Plan 2023, and we'll issue 150 options here. In terms of the grant date, we'll just do the same that we did in Carta, so we'll do 5/20/2025. For the expiration date, we'll do 10 years in the future, so 5/20/2035. And we'll keep going down. So for the price, similarly, the platform is pulling the fair market value at the time. So that's looking good here. For vesting, we can indicate our vesting schedule. So we'll do, every month for 48 months with no cliff on this one. And the vesting start date, we'll pick that same date in 2023, just so that we can see some action having happened here. For the definitions, it's a little bit different here in Capboard. We have the good lever, bad lever, and liquidity event. They're just text fields that we can input here to indicate, what might happen in the case of somebody leaving on good terms, what might happen in the case of somebody leaving on bad terms, as well as any details regarding a liquidity event if that were a condition to vest these options. I'll leave these blank for now. We can go ahead and look at the termination periods. These are automatically pulling from the details in the equity incentive plan that's already loaded into Capboard here. So everything looks good here. I'll just go with the defaults. For documents, I've got a blank PDF that I've already input into Capboard, so I'll just select that here. If you had other documents, you would be able to see those and upload those as well. And then this is a cool feature. You have the ability just to write an internal note for your team to see, or if there were any special circumstances, just to help with organization in the future. Another cool feature here on the bottom left is to toggle on the notification of the grant. So if we wanted to just issue this for more of record keeping purposes, we can just keep that notify toggle off here. And once everything looks good, we'll hit the Save button in the bottom right corner. And we'll see that this grant is already in Capboard. So at this point, everything's done. That was a pretty quick process. You'll notice that Capboard is quite a bit simpler than Carta. Its simplicity appeals to a different set of companies. So if your company wanted something a little simpler, less expensive, Capboard could be a great option versus Carta is more feature heavy, but also comes at a bit higher of a price tag. So different things to consider there. And then to finish out here, we can take a look at what these grants look like in the on the stakeholder side of things. So for Capboard, I'm just going to click this button, which will show me what the stakeholder would see in this case. So they do have a couple option grants at this point, so we'll be able to see those different grants and the different colors, as well as kind of what the vesting schedule is looking like, in addition to some other information here. In contrast, on Carta, this is what the stakeholder would see on their end from using Carta. They see it, pretty similar graph with the vesting schedule, as well as some additional details here. You'll notice that this window looks a little bit busier for the stakeholder on Carta. Reason for that is because they have options or equity awards in a number of different companies. So we do see a little bit more going on this view. But that takes us to the end of this video. We've seen issuing options in those two different accounts. If you do have any questions about Carta or Capboard, please feel free to let me know. There's an email in the description below. Please shoot me an email. I'd love to connect, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.